helps individuals stay at home by offering caregiving, nursing, and medical alert systems in over 55 communities in South Dakota, specializing in tasks of bathing.
Service Master of Pier is your go-to service experts for a wide variety of cleaning needs. Since 2003, we have developed the most effective methods and products to service virtually every type of industry. We're known for our exceptional carpet and upholstery cleaning, but did you know we also offer cleaning of all types of flooring, along with providing fire and water restoration, commercial cleaning, janitorial services, and construction cleanup. Service Master of Pier is a proud sponsor of TF Riggs Governors and Lady Govs, as well as Stanley County Buffaloes and Lady Buffs activities.
Most people don't think about their furnace until it's not working, but we do. At Pite Service Experts, we are trained to see what others miss. Airflow restrictions, pressure imbalances, heat exchanger flaws. That's how we catch little issues before they become cold nights and costly repairs. Because keeping your home warm takes more than just a toolbox. Our certified technicians will get your system running at peak condition. Call Pite Service Experts for our special $99 precision tune-up today. Call 866-EXPERTS. See website for license details.
Now's your chance for a great deal on smoking fast fiber internet from Venture Communications. Upgrade to the speed you need, up to 1 gig. And with whole home Wi-Fi included as part of your service, experience no-lag gaming, your favorite music, web surfing, HD video streaming, and connect to the latest smart devices. If you're ready for an upgrade, call or visit Venture Communications online.
Farming is more than a livelihood. It's a legacy. Simplot was founded by a hardworking farmer like you over 90 years ago, and we've been growing America's farms for generations. With local crop advisors grounded in your success, Simplot Grower Solutions is in your fields and by your side. We dig in deep to pinpoint what you need, where you need it, when you need it, even when the forecast is unpredictable.
When the world feels big, a small note can mean everything. Find mental health support at sdbehavioralhealth.gov.
John Hoffman Electric is your neighborhood electrical service contractor and so much more. No job is too big or too small for our team of professionals. We pride ourselves on keeping up with new technologies such as Aerial, an augmented reality visual tool used to customize and experience a finished space before breaking ground. So whether you're building new or renovating a home, farm, or commercial space, let John Hoffman Electric light the way. John Hoffman is a proud sponsor of all local activities broadcast on Live Ticket TV.
Welcome to Bowie Foods at Al's Oasis Plaza. My great-grandfather, Gus Bowie, opened the first store in 1905. I'm R.F. Bowie, the president of Bowie Foods. We aren't your typical store. You'll find everything you need for your family. You'll save money, and I promise you're going to enjoy your grocery shopping experience. We carry a lot of locally produced products and some things you just aren't going to find anywhere else. South Dakota owned, family owned, Bowie Foods.
When you're in the need for high-quality replacement auto parts, look no further than Zander Auto Parts and Machine Shop in Pierre. Zander's has been servicing the Pierre area for over 40 years. Their professional parts techs can get you the part you need and get you back on the road. Stop by Zander Auto Parts and Machine Shop at 500 West Sioux in Pierre or call 224-9221. Zander's, your source for domestic and foreign auto parts and accessories.
Being a part of a community means sharing the history and future of the people all around it. For 115 years, First Fidelity Bank has been doing just that, helping you get the most out of life by providing the services and tools you need, the conveniences and technology you want, and the friendly faces you expect. So you get everything you need right here in the place you call home. Now and for many years to come. Fidelity Bank.
Allied Plumbing and Heating is your contact for business, farm, commercial, and residential plumbing needs located in Pierre. No job is too big or small for Allied. Put our over 50 years of experience to work for you. At Allied Plumbing and Heating, the only surprise we want for our customers is how fast they get the job done. That's why we offer free estimates on every single service, no hidden charges. Give them a call today at Allied Plumbing and Heating. Remember, you can rely on your allies.
Do you have a pest problem? Got bats, ants, termites? Family-owned and operated, Olson's Pest Technicians have had over 50 years' experience taking care of pest problems in places across South Dakota, Nebraska, and Iowa. Utilizing brilliant methods such as Centricon bait stations for termites and Vicane treatment for bed bugs, there's no pest too tough for Olson's Pest Technicians. If you have pest problems, call 800-KILL-BUGS.
Do you want to join one of the oldest established organizations in Fort Pierre? Perhaps you are more interested in protecting the future. Whatever your position, the Fort Pierre Volunteer Fire Department is for you. We are responsible for fire protection in Fort Pierre and Stanley County. Become part of this amazing team by stopping down at the fire hall and discussing enrollment. We are not just limited to adults, as we have a new cadet program for students ages 14 to 18. For more information, click on our banner ad on the homepage. From everyone at the fire hall, go Buffs!
Out here, you learn that to keep growing, you have to keep changing. CHS and the farmers and ranchers we serve know all about change, because together we've changed agriculture. That's why we're the largest farmer-owned cooperative in the country. So farmers own the system they can, with advantages in every state. From innovative tools that help crops grow, to grain processing expertise, to energy solutions, we create connections to empower agriculture. Learn more at chsinc.com.
Dakota Pro Air is a locally family-owned business that has been taking care of farmers' aerial needs since 2020. With locations in Letcher and Miller, Dakota Pro Air is able to provide service to a large area. Ground conditions too wet, or just don't want those sprayer tracks in your field? Give Dakota Pro Air a call for all your chemical and fertilizer application needs at 605-248-2314.
The innocence of youth. Is there anything any better? But soon they'll be in high school and facing all the same challenges you faced. How to make friends, how to fit in, how to be cool. We want our children to have everything they'll need to live fulfilling and productive lives. Make sure the kids in your family are among the more than 57,000 participants here in South Dakota who take part in high school sports or activities.
When life gets hard,
and the DRG News app. It's time for the pregame on KGFX.
And hello, everybody. We welcome you into the Bank West pregame show on a perfect Friday night for volleyball. And if there was ever an evening where I wish we could have an outdoor volleyball match, this would be the one. It is a gorgeous Friday night here in Fort Pierre as the Stanley County Lady Buffaloes welcome in the Highmore-Harrold Pirates. As we wind down to the regular season to get close to postseason, it is crunch time for both of these teams. We got an exciting match up ahead. As I mentioned, folks, we are live on KGFX tonight. You can also watch tonight's match live on drgnews.com at the KGFX station page. Big thanks to Brian Menning for operating our camera via live ticket here this evening. You can also download the DRG News app to make your listening experience much more streamlined and much more enjoyable. We often have multiple nights where we've got multiple broadcasts going on, much like we do here this evening with the Pier Governors on the road against Stoke Gorman on River 92.7. Next Thursday, we'll have more high school playoff football coverage for you across our airwaves. So make sure you download the DRG News app. You'll be able to bounce around from game to game. Really good Friday night crowd here in Parkview this evening. The students are decked out in their Hawaiian gear. They've got leis, they've got the comfy looking t-shirts on, and well, couldn't have asked for better weather to show up. Right under 70 degrees outside, not a cloud in sight, making it a very easy trip in, although South Dakota Office of Highway Safety still reminds you to slow the drive, arrive alive. You've got someplace to be, and that place is here in Fort Pierre for this Friday night matchup between the Pirates and the Lady Buffaloes. Well, folks, as we mentioned, we got a lot to get to here in our Bank West pregame show. We'll meet both teams, but before we do that, we want to talk about some keys to success tonight, as one of these teams is playing a little bit shorthanded, not on the floor, but actually on the bench. And, of course, we get to hear what TJ Dragisette wants to see out of her team. Before we do that, let's hear a word from our great friends who sponsor our keys to success, our friends at Buff Nation.
Buff Nation is proud to support and serve area athletics and the Stanley County Buffaloes this season. Buff Nation never stops giving back, and you can become a valued member today with memberships starting at $30. Membership fees include Buff Nation decals, discounted ticketing to events, free concession stand items, and so much more. If you are interested in becoming a member of Buff Nation, please contact Tate Gabriel at 605-222-5537.
Big thanks to our great friends at Buff Nation, as always, for sponsoring our keys to success. We'll start with the visiting Highmore-Harrold Pirates. We told you they'd be playing a little bit shorthanded tonight, but not on the floor, right on the bench. It is led by Shelby Hyde, the head coach, but she's playing shorthanded. She's going to be the only coach on the bench here this evening for the Pirates. She's got a big smile on her face, and her couple of great assistant coaches, Miranda Hansen, Rachel Leschke, and Casey McCauley, all had some stuff that they had to get done here on this Friday night. Of course, we're not used to playing volleyball on Friday nights. We're used to playing on Tuesdays and Thursdays, but of course, with the playoffs around the state, everything got shifted here to some Friday night lights action inside of Parkview. So Miss Shelby Hyde is going to be all on her own. However, she's got the support of her coaching staff from afar. Highmore, not too far from here. A lot of good fans and a lot of good attendance from the Pirates faithful have made their way out tonight. But as we look at this roster, it is a young Highmore-Harrold squad. Now, that does not mean they have not found success on the season. They won a lot of matches. They currently sit at 14-11 on the year. But as you go through their roster, it's a lot of sophomores, one senior in their starting rotation, one junior, and a couple freshmen. So it is all going to be about that leadership from the underclassmen in this Highmore-Harrold squad. They're going to be looking for some good communication. They're going to be looking to just play their game. But of course, at this point in the season, one thing that Shelby and I talked about is these freshmen and sophomores are no longer freshmen or sophomore. They have played a full varsity season, and she feels that these players at this varsity level have settled in nicely, and this would be a big win for them on the road here in Stanley County tonight. For the Lady Buffaloes, a lot of the same from TJ Dragisette. After a tough loss to a great Kadoka area team, she still wants to hear her team communicate. But one thing I think she was really pleased with in that Kadoka area loss was the vibes and the feeling and the kind of excitement that her team carried, because they were looking for not necessarily a win, but to be competitive. And that, like we said, that was a Kadoka area team that is filled with some top-class talent, but you never saw smiles wiped away from the faces of the Lady Buffaloes. And one player who played a great game was Timber Hansen. She had an outstanding match going all the way across the back line from left to right, came up, made some big plays. However, another key to success tonight for the Stanley County Lady Buffaloes is trying to get Brecken Hubner and get her more involved, along with Jorea Walker. Those two are very crucial pieces up front around the net. Of course, Addie Deal plays a huge role at the net as well, jumping through the rafters. So if the Lady Buffaloes can get those three girls involved, much like they have throughout the regular season, then this could be a recipe for success tonight against the Highmore-Harrold Pirates for the Stanley County Lady Buffaloes. That is some top talent up front with Brecken Hubner, one of the tallest players that you'll see in this classification throughout the regular season. Use her height to your advantage. And of course, we've seen Addie Deal elevate up, play like a 6'2" player, though she only stands at 5'6". She's got an incredible vertical. And of course, as we talked about that back line, Timber Hansen can cover a lot of floor. They're going to need her tonight. So big thanks to Buff Nation for sponsoring our keys to success. We're just a couple minutes away from getting our first serve underway, so we're going to take a quick break. When we come back in 2 minutes, we'll be both starting lineups. We'll introduce you to tonight's game officials, and we'll get this Friday night match underway. You're listening to the Bank West pregame show live on KGFX, and you can watch it live on drgnews.com.
There when you need them the most. Bank West insurance agents Sam Kennecke and Angie Taylor are here to make your life easier.
As an independent agency, we're able to customize an insurance plan to fit your individual needs.
We work with dozens of companies to find you the best possible coverage and the best price.
For your insurance needs, contact Sam or Angie at Bank West Insurance and Pier. Bank West, convenient, connected, committed. Insurance products are not deposits, not FDIC insured, not insured by any federal agency, not guaranteed by any bank, and may go down in value.
There's an app for everything, including high school sports from the stations of DRG Media Group. Download the DRG News app from the App Store or Google Play. It takes only a moment, so you'll have it in time for this game. See live and archived video of all games. And when you select your favorite station during the live stream, the video will immediately pop up. See Central South Dakota high school sports on your phone or mobile device with the DRG News app. Download it now from the App Store or Google Play. Access Health Fort Pierre welcomes new and established patients, offering chronic and acute care for all ages, including evaluations for illness and injuries, immunizations, lab testing, wellness exams, and DOT and sports visits. Same-day appointments are available, and most major insurances are accepted. Good luck this season, athletes, from Access Health Fort Pierre, assuring access to quality health care.
Good luck to all Highmore-Harrold teams from the Highmore-Harrold, which has been serving the Highmore and Harrold area, distributing the local newspaper each week for over 143 years. The Herald offers all types of commercial printing and is the local distributor for Watkins products and the local Buell's Laundry drop-off location. See them for stadium chairs and support our teams in style and comfort. Check out local events on Venture Channel 381 or live stream from the Highmore-Harrold School District website.
Well, Miss Haley Hansen must have a pretty good ear over there. The DRG Media Group headquarters is Mr. Brightside playing here inside Parkview, now playing across your airwaves. Hello, everybody. I'm Justin Cowart, welcoming you back into the broadcast booth and inside the Bank West pregame show as we're moments away from getting first serve underway here on a Friday night between Stanley County and the Highmore-Harrold Pirates. All right, let's meet both starting lineups for you here tonight. We'll always, as we usually do, start with our visiting roster for the Highmore-Harrold Pirates. Starting will be Tenley McDonald, a freshman standing at 5'6". Emma Farron's a sophomore, also standing at 5'6". Tallest player on this roster, Jada Balloon, a sophomore, standing at 5'10". Jay Lee Fallis at 5'6", a freshman, will be starting as well. Addison McDonald, Carly Stevenson, and Lainey Ping will round out the starting seven for the Highmore-Harrold Pirates. We'll also see the only senior, as we mentioned, in this starting rotation. And as we look through, the only senior on this entire roster for Highmore-Harrold is Addison McDonald. So a lot of weight being pulled from the underclassmen for Highmore-Harrold here tonight and throughout the season. Starting lineup for the Lady Buffaloes will be Brianna Sargent, Austin Norman, Brecken Hubner, Timber Hansen, Jorea Walker, Addie Deal, and Carly Brady. We'll also see some substitutions come in. We saw Emerson Forrest a good bit against Kadoka area. We also saw Mila Keefe checking in spots. I'm sure we'll be calling those names here tonight as well. Before we go any further, let's introduce you to our game officials. As always, our game officials are sponsored by the South Dakota Attorney General's Office Division of Consumer Protection.
Inheritance, romance, and investment scams continue to plague South Dakotans with high dollar amount losses. They prey on vulnerable adults and swindle consumers out of their funds. Scammers befriend the victim, making it difficult for them to see the reality of what's happening. If you have a loved one susceptible to this type of scam, sit down and talk with them about these issues before it happens to them. If you or a loved one have been scammed in this manner, please reach out to the South Dakota Office of Attorney General's Consumer Protection Division at 800-300-1986.
And our South Dakota Attorney General's Office Division of Consumer Protection game officials tonight will be Miss Angie Kinsley and Miss Bev Ball. We're going to step away for one final break. When we come back, it's time for first serve as they play our national anthem here on KGFX and DRGnews.com.
Stanley County Booster Club welcomes staff and students back to school for the 25-26 school year. If you have noticed all the great changes on the Stanley County campus, it's internal too. So get your commemorative 30th edition of the Booster Club calendar, find some new purple and gold gear at their Buff store, and come out to see the staff, students, activities, and facilities. Proud to be a Buffalo and inviting you to join us. We're the Stanley County Booster Club.
Xander Auto Parts, the only locally owned auto parts store in the Fort Pierre area, has been serving Central South Dakota for over 40 years. They're a trusted name when it comes to automotive parts and supplies. Their knowledgeable staff is dedicated to assisting you in finding exactly what you need. Convenience is also a top priority. They're located at 500 Sioux Avenue. Xander Auto Parts. They support area youth in their activities. When you need auto parts or supplies, shop Xander Auto Parts, your auto value parts store.
Access Health Highmore welcomes new and established patients, offering chronic and acute care for all ages, including evaluation for illness and injuries, immunizations, lab testing, wellness exams, and DOT and sports physicals. Same-day appointments are available, and most major insurances are accepted. Good luck this season, athletes, from Access Health Highmore, assuring access to quality health care.
Getting set for first serve here in Fort Pierre as the Stanley County Lady Buffaloes wait to get their starting lineups introduced. They are down on the floor. They're going to be tossing out some mini volleyballs and some T-shirts here tonight. As we want to give a big thanks to all of our great sponsors who are helping us broadcast here tonight. Our friends at Bank West, Jan Bussey Ford, Highmore-Harrold, Venture Communications, Access Health, Highmore Health, Avera Health, First Dakota National Bank, Access Health, the Stanley County Booster Club, Xander Auto Parts, Oahe Federal Credit Union, Bauman Lumber, Birding Electric, and Dakota Plains Federal Credit Union. Stanley County Lady Buffs still rocking their Breast Cancer Awareness Month pink jerseys as they've got the white sleeves and Lady Buffs arched across the chest, their numerals in white as well. Bottoms in black. Highmore-Harrold on the road in their road blacks. They've got some striped red down either sleeve. Their numerals in red outlined in white. And Pirates across the back underneath the numerals. Team's liberos for Stanley County will be Timber Hansen. She will be wearing white. And for Highmore-Harrold, it'll be Lainey Ping wearing the libero red. Of course, Highmore-Harrold is led by head coach Miss Shelby Hyde, and of course, the Lady Buffaloes are led by TJ Dragasette. Perfect night for some volleyball here. As we met both officials, had to step away right in the midst of the national anthem, which was sung by a couple of Stanley County students. As we mentioned, the student section is packed out and ready for a good night of volleyball. Normally, they're used to being across the street over in the brand new football complex, but tonight, this Friday night, they are here inside of Parkview. As both, as we mentioned, starting lineups getting announced. Let's quickly take a peek back at both of these schedules and what these two teams have been doing the past couple weeks. It's a winning streak currently for Highmore-Harrold. They've won their last three, including their most recent match, a 3-0 sweep against a 16-11 Lyman Raiders squad. They went the depth with them, 26-24 in set number 1, 25-19 in set number 2, and 25-21 in set number 3. Before that, they won against Lower Brule. They beat Crow Creek the match before that. Their only loss here, seemingly in the month of October, came to a 22-5 Woolsey Wessington team that beat them in 3 straight sets. Before that, on the 9th of October, it was a 3-1 win over Wessington Springs, and it was a win against Sully Buttes. Their 2 losses at the beginning of October came to Sanborn Central Woonsocket and again to Woolsey Wessington over in a tournament earlier in the month. And for Stanley County, they're looking to break a losing streak. Their last win came against Colombe on October 9th. It's been 4 straight losses since then. Of course, as we mentioned, their last loss coming to Kadoka area in 3 straight sets. They went the distance against Dupree, 5 sets, but lost there. They would lose to Sully Buttes prior to that and lose to Todd County. So Stanley County is going to have to look for some good communication tonight. They're going to have good passing, good sets, and protect the net, hoping that Jarrell Walker and Brecken Hubner can supply that. Stanley County has gotten their final rotations in, and we are just about set to go. Happy to have you joining us here tonight on KGFX. It'll be Carly Brady to get things going here for the Lady Buffaloes. Still start with a serve as we are underway here in Parkview. Soft return for Highmore-Harrold as it's dug out by Addie Deal, setting up Austin Norman. She floats it over two blockers at the Pirates side of things. Good swing going on here. Good volley as this one set up for Brianna Sargent, but a bit too far outside. And the first point of the evening will go to the Highmore-Harrold Pirates, and we're bringing you scores off our Wegner Auto scoreboard. The Addison McDonald alone senior on this Pirate squad to serve, and a kill is dumped in by Jada Balloon. And that'll make it 2-0 Highmore-Harrold in the early going. As we mentioned, Jada Balloon tops out on the size chart for Highmore-Harrold, but after a little bit of discussion between Ball and Kingsley, we have a point awarded to Stanley County, so now we're back tied up at 1 apiece, and Austin Norman on to serve. Third touch on a kill is successful for Jaylee Fallis as she split it right between Brecken Hubner and Addie Deal up front at the net. 2-1 Highmore-Harrold. Not a long drive for the Pirate fans as this serve goes long for Carly Stevenson. So they have responded, put a good sum of fans in the seats right behind the Highmore-Harrold bench. A lot of red in the crowd, but also a lot of Stanley County purple and gold. Brecken Hubner on to serve here for the Lady Buffs, and she gets the ace off the hand of McDonald. And Stanley County has their first lead of this first set. 3-2 is the score. Hubner, we've seen her just slowly get better and better from the service line throughout the past 2 years and her career. Good serve here. Net violation against Highmore-Harrold makes it 4-2 Stanley County. And even though it's early and there's still a lot of volleyball left to be played after what Kadoka area was able to do, is this serve is another ace for Hubner off the hands of Emma Ferens along the back line. I think Ferens might have wanted to let that one travel a little bit further. May have been a service error by Brecken Hubner, but Hubner gets the ace off the errant touch by Ferens. 5-2 Stanley County. I'll finish my point about that Kadoka area match when Hubner cools down. She sends another great serve. This block by Jerea Walker was successful, but out of bounds. And the Pirates cut it back to 2. As I was mentioning about Kadoka area, it's got to feel good to get a couple positive points, build yourself a slight cushion, something they weren't able to do against the Cougars. This serve is dug out by Hanson, lofted by Brady, and killed by Deal. Now that was a fluid setup from Hanson to Brady, and it was finished off by Deal. And as we mentioned in the Bank West pregame show, Mila Keefe will check in for Brianna Sargent. This is a much earlier substitution of Mila Keefe than we saw the other night against Kadoka area. Keefe kind of a serving specialist. She flat-footed, sends it across, and a beauty. That had a lot of English on it. Somehow dug out by the Pirates and swung back the Lady Buffalo's direction. But a beautiful setup by Carly Brady is blocked at the net after Jerea Walker sent it across. And Timber Hanson with her back to the net, past the back line, unable to get enough juice on it to get it back across into Highmore-Harrold territory. Still 6-4, Stanley County out in front. Shaylee Parrish, a junior, will serve here for the Pirates. Parrish with a rifling serve sends Timber Hanson down to 2 knees. Swung back across on the second touch by Deal. Kill dumped in, saved by Sargent. At the net is Brady. Third touch somehow across by Jerea Walker. Back and forth they go. What a save by Walker and Carly Brady, as this one was lofted up by Norman, but a bit short of the net. And Highmore-Harrold has cut it to a 1-point deficit, 6-5. Stanley County out in front. Parrish still on the serve. Parrish with a little bit more air under this second serve compared to the first time around. Addie Deal trying to get the kill. It's dug out by Destiny McCauley and swung back across by the Pirates. Brady with the second touch, trying to set up Hanson. Hanson about midway between the back line and the net, gets it across. Kill is partially blocked by Deal, slowing down some of that momentum as it got to Sargent. Jerea Walker able to swing it back across. Destiny McCauley decided to go with the underhand on her return. Walker set up by Brady, dug out by Parrish, set up for Ferens. Ferens swings, and our longest point of the evening continues on. The Pirates looking for the kill. Ferens dumps it in. Saved by Walker. Somehow pushed across by Addie Deal, and it can't be saved by Ferens. Helter Skelter at the exodus of that point, and it is awarded to Stanley County. Some great awareness by Jerea Walker and Addie Deal, just sticking the paws out, getting it across, and making it 7-5 Stanley County. Deal on the serve, goes into the net. That is, if there's any blemishes of Addie Deal's game, it might be right there at the service line, something she has been working hard on and getting better at, much like Brecken Huebner. And it's back to Tenley McDonald for the Pirates, trailing by 1 point here in set number 1. 7-6 on our Wegner Auto scoreboard as the ball swings back and forth. Brady saving it before it got into her kitchen, just stuck the right hand up, kind of palmed it, had no idea where it was going to go, and it dropped in between two Stanley County Lady Buffaloes, and we're tied at 7. McDonald will serve right from the middle of the lane. And by lane, I'm talking about the basketball lane painted down on the floor. And a beautiful play by Jerea Walker on the return. She got up at the net, had two blockers in her way, and just redirected it off to her right, our left, and perfectly placed. Got it to just touch down right inside the shadow of the line. And the Lady Buffaloes regain the 1 point lead. Hanson serve, pushes McCauley back. As kill raises the fingertips of Huebner, saved by Norman. Huebner's kill partially blocked, and a net violation against Highmore-Harrold. The second of this first set makes it 9-7 Lady Buffaloes. And maybe one of the bonuses of Highmore-Harrold playing a great team like Lyman and going a long 3 sets as Hanson's serve is returned on the first touch. Set up for Norman. Norman with a two-handed push. Drives back the libero for the Pirates. Lainey Ping. She dove and saved it, but her touch was directed towards the Pirate bench, further and further away from the net. Nobody able to track down and get to it in time. 10-7 Lady Buffaloes. Hanson with another serve, but this one goes long as Lainey Ping watches it sail. One of those bonuses about that Lyman match, while it did only go 3 sets, went the distance, it seems, in each one of those sets. You might have some tired legs after that match just 3 days ago. So that could be working in the Lady Buffaloes' favor. Huebner jumping through the rafters for that kill. It's dug out by Ping. Killed into by Jada Balloon, but right into the hands of Brecken Huebner. Norman pushes it across with 2 hands. Pirates trying to set it up in the middle for Addison McDonald, and an errant touch by Emerson Forrest will have it spiral downward underneath the net. 10-9, Stanley County still out in front. It's been back and forth. Emma Ferens on to serve for the Pirates. Forrest and Hanson converging together to get it across. As this one is swung with the right hand of Addison McDonald, setting up Huebner in the middle. Huebner's kill, bit too long. And we're tied at 10. This has got to feel good for TJ Dragoset as this serve goes long for Emma Ferens, and Stanley County back out in front to be in and competing, and only 1 or 2 points off when you are behind and playing in front for a majority of this first set has got to feel good for the Lady Buffaloes. As the serve and return is set up for the Pirates. Emerson Forrest with the dig. Austin Norman after being set up with the kill that's kept alive by the Pirates. Kill clips the top of the net for Jada Balloon. Saved by Carly Brady and pushed across by Sargent. Near side kill set up. Blocked by Huebner. Dug out and saved by Balloon. And what a kill and save at the block. Addison McDonald tried to kill it from a few feet back from the net, but she threw it right into the waiting, blocking hands of Brecken Huebner. Huebner sent it right down the elevator shaft. The Stanley County Lady Buffaloes lead by 2. They've had some great work up front from Jerea Walker and Brecken Huebner. This serve gets away from Carly Brady a little bit, almost comes up to the upper mezzanine. And she's sharing a laugh with a couple of her teammates. Pretty uncharacteristic serve there from Carly Brady. As it's back to Addison McDonald and the Pirates. And McDonald returns the favor with a long serve of her own. 13-11, Lady Buffs out in front. It would be considered an upset if Stanley County would be able to win here tonight. And how badly they would love to have this first set and to be playing from in front in the match. Addie Deal getting set up for the kill. And that is some beautiful work at the net for Jaylee Fallis. Blocks it right back where it came from. And a great job there by Addie Deal, but a equally as great play by Jaylee Fallis, using her size advantage to jump up and block that one down. 13-12, Stanley County in front. Hubner with a kill, blocked at the net, returned, and another great play by Jaylee Fallis. Lainey Ping got the dig on the Hubner kill, sent it up in Fallis's direction. Hubner was there to block, but Fallis redirecting it away from Hubner's location. Seen some good peripheral vision up front by both sides here thus far tonight, and another nice kill. And Jada Balloon and Jaylee Fallis trying to decide whose kill was that, as Highmore-Harrold takes their first lead since early in this first set. You can credit Balloon and Fallis on that one. We've got a whistle on the serve and a rotation violation, it seems, for Stanley County. Make it 15-13, Highmore-Harrold. It's been a close first set, but Stanley County has controlled it for a majority, though Highmore-Harrold has dug in here as they lead by 2. Hubner trying to answer with a kill, and that rolls off a couple Pirates and creates a fourth touch, and Hubner adds to her kill total. I've got 4 by my count here in this first set, 3 by Jorea Walker. And Hubner on the serve, and a beauty as it clips the top of the net and drops right down in front of Jaylee Fallis. That one had a lot of steam, and all the momentum was taken off by the top of the net as it just crawled over and fell right in front of Fallis. Now Huber's second serve in this service goes long, and Highmore-Harrold regains a 1-point lead, 16-15. Pirates out in front on our Wegner Auto scoreboard. Hubner will check out. And that is another service error, this time by Jada Balloon, and we're tied back up at 16. Mila Keefe will check in for Brianna Sargent. She will head to the back line, grabs the ball from Timber Hansen. Keefe will serve. This is her second trip to the line here in this first set, all tied up at 16, and Keefe serve, finds net, and gives the Pirates back the lead. So Keefe is out, Sargent back in. 5'1", Shaylee Parrish will return back to serve for the Pirates. Serve dug out by Austin Norman, set up by Jorea Walker for Addie Deal, who softly dumps it in to the Highmore-Harrold side of the court. That one is sent wide by Addison McDonald. She missed it here on the near side sideline. Stanley County is, from where we're set up, kind of catty-cornered here inside Parkview with a perfect view of the floor. The Lady Buffaloes are on the far side. Highmore-Harrold here on the near side. As this serve is going to be sent into the corner on the kill, and Addison McDonald gets the point for Highmore-Harrold. Couldn't have placed that return any better. Far side pins it in the corner with forward spin on the kill, just gets it to dive down. Right in front of the far side official. This serve is sent across by Tenley McDonald. Austin Norman with a soft return. One touch and across for Emma Ferens and returned right back to Ferens. Now they're going to try to set it up here on the near side for the Pirates, and Ferens just getting it across. And that set up a Jorea Walker kill, and there was nobody there to field it. Lainey Ping dove to her left, got a fist on it. But with as much pace as was sent by Jorea Walker, nobody could return, and we've got our first, it seems, Agtegra timeout being taken here by the Pirates. Acres Ahead can maximize your farm's earning potential straight from the start. Contact your local Agtegra cooperative today. We'll be back in 30 seconds. It's 18-all in the first set between Stanley County and Highmore-Harrold on KGFX at drgnews.com.
Thoughts get too much to bear. Finding the resiliency within us can help us find healing. The 988 Suicide and Crisis Lifeline provides 24/7 free support for anyone in suicidal distress or emotional crisis. All texts and calls are anonymous and connect you to local resources that uphold cultural values and pave the way to healing. Find the strength within you. Find the strength within our culture. Reach out if you need help today.
Explore the 2023.
Timeout. We got a good one going here in the first set. Man, if this thing can go 5, hopefully all 5 will be just like this. We're tied at 18, and there's been no deficit to get larger than 3 points. It's been back and forth. Jerea Walker on to serve for the Lady Buffs. Dug out by Ping. Now swung across on the third touch by Emma Ferentz. Played back in the Pirates' direction. They're setting up McDonald again, and another Addison McDonald kill finds its way inside the line in front of the Stanley County bench. Highmore-Harrold regains the 1-point advantage. I think for the moment, Stanley County thought there might be a net violation. The officials did not award it. So it's 19-18, Highmore-Harrold. Farron's on to serve. Plays it in the direction of Brianna Sargent. Brianna Sargent couldn't handle the spin as it careens off back behind the bleachers and out of play. And like we just mentioned, there's been no lead, to my recollection here in this first set, that has gone higher than 3 points for either side. But this is crunch time here as a 20-18 lead is held for the Pirates. Can't let this thing get too far away with you with the final point impending. Swung across by Norman. Set up for Stevenson, who's sets it for Jada Balloon, and Jada Balloon dumps it in past Brecken Hubner and in front of Timber Hansen, and it's 21-18. And there hasn't been a 3-point lead that's felt this large in this first set. Stanley County with their backs against the wall, and Emma Farron serving, need to find themselves a point. Dumped across by Carly Brady. Second touch by Stevenson. Swung across by McDonald. And that is Brianna Sargent's return that goes below the net in front of Carly Brady. And it's 22-18 Highmore-Harrold. Quick serve from Farron's. Feeling it. Doesn't want to waste any time. This one is popped up by Emerson Forrest. Set up for Hubner, who swings it across. Balloon gets her shot blocked by Brecken Hubner, but so much trajectory, so much pace on it. It flies out of play off the outstretched arms of Brecken Hubner. Bounced about a foot out of play right in front of the Pirates bench, 23-18, Highmore-Harrold. Emerson Forrest pops it up, kind of bounces off of the speakers in the ceiling and swung across by Austin Norman. Into the net is Carly Stevenson. And Stevenson was staring back in the face of Brecken Hubner. So the first touch by Emerson Forrest went up and rattled off the speakers, completely changed its direction back for Carly Brady. Brady had to do a 180 spin to get to it. Got it over to Norman. Norman was able to get it across. 23-19. Hubner with a kill. Blocked by Stevenson, but into the net, and it's point Stanley County. 20-23. Lady Buffaloes lead. Carly Brady on the serve. Stanley County needing a run. Brady trying to facilitate it. She will be serving right down the center line. Brady with a forward spinning serve dives into the net. And the Pirates are 1 point away from taking set one. It'll be Addison McDonald to serve, trying to put away the Lady Buffaloes here and take a 1-set advantage. Hubner with the kill, but a violation against the Highmore-Harrold Pirates will award the point to Stanley County. I believe they called phallus on that technical violation. So now Stanley County within 3, but their backs against the wall. Highmore-Harrold 1 point away. Laney Ping, first touch on the Austin Norman serve. Kill into from phallus into Hubner's wrists and out of play. And Highmore-Harrold takes set number 1 at 25-21. It sure was exciting. Yep, set number 2 will be that way. We'll be back in 3 minutes with all the coverage here on KGFX and streaming live on drgnews.com.
We're Navigator at Capital City Ford in Lincoln. Every time you approach your Lincoln, you'll receive a recarpet welcome. Twin turbocharged 3.5 V6 engine with auto start stop technology. You'll travel confidently with technology that meets all your needs. Now you can get the 2023 Navigator for 5.9% at 72 months. Stop in to see the full vehicle lineup at Capital City Ford in Lincoln. Capital City Ford in Pierce, South Dakota.
Generational success means different things to different people. But to us, it means seeing my daughter, following my footsteps, keeping the farm in the family, just getting to do this every day. We're Agtegra Cooperative, and we're generationally successful. That's who we are. Agtegra Cooperative.
What if we said a bank isn't a place to lock up money? It's a place to set it free. What if the point of banking wasn't to bank at all, but to put your ideas to work? What if your bank asked, what if a little more? Well, what if we told you we do? We're American Bank and Trust, where what if meets why not? If you're ready to change what you get out of banking, start a relationship with us. What if you made the move today?
The Corner Station Convenience Store and the Crossing Pub are both conveniently located on Pleasant Drive in Pierce, South Dakota. At the Corner Station, grab your favorite hot and cold beverages and snacks while filling your vehicle up with Cenex brand gasoline. The Corner Station also features a super tunnel car wash to keep your vehicle sparkling clean. At the Crossing, grab a cold beverage and check out their selection of appetizers while watching the Stanley County Buffaloes and Pierre Governors live on their big screen televisions. Best of luck to all area students from the Corner Station and the Crossing.
Each day brings the opportunity to make a difference, to follow through with integrity, to solve challenges through innovative thinking, and to bring the technical know-how needed to get the job done. At Wilbur Ellis, this is how we work, standing side by side as local experts who partner with the stewards of the land. We do it together. That's the power of we.
Graham Tire of Pierre is your...
Set number 2, set to get underway. Hello, everybody. I'm Justin Cowart coming to you live on this Friday night from Parkview. Got Brian Manning on the camera and Haley Hansen back in the studio. And set 2 starts with a kill from Brecken Hubner in a 1-0 Lady Buffalo lead. We talked a little bit about it in our Bank West pregame show. We wanted to see it against Kadoka area, but getting Brecken Hubner, getting Jorea Walker more involved at the net is a crucial piece as Carly Brady's serve finds the netting to tie this up at 1 apiece. But we have seen Brecken Hubner dominate up front. Normally always has the size advantage, and we're seeing her make some hay tonight. This serve goes long for Addison McDonald, and back-to-back service errors by both sides makes it 2-1 Stanley County out in front on our Wegner Auto scoreboard. A lot of folks deciding to come out to Parkview for some Friday night volleyball, as this one is dumped in softly over the head of Hubner by Jada Balloon right into no man's land. Great touch there from Balloon. We've seen a lot of that here tonight from both sides. Some good vision, some great touches as we've got a whistle. And a violation against Stanley County will give Highmore-Harrold their first lead of this second set. If you're just joining us, Highmore-Harrold holds a 1-0 lead in this match. They took set number 1 in a back-and-forth affair, 25-21. Carly Stevenson serving for the Pirates as Brady swings it across. Barron's first touch set up by Stevenson, killed in by Fallis, but a bit too long as that one travels past the back line by about a foot. Tied back up at 3. Regular season closing down for both of these two schools. One final regular season game on the schedule for both. We'll get to those in our next short break. Is Brecken Hubner's serve is sent across, third touch, killed in, sent in by Jada Balloon, but one sails wide and out of play. 4-3 Stanley County. Stanley County will have a 4-day break until the 28th when they take on Jones County, who sits at 16-10 on the season. Hubner with the 1-point lead and another nice serve sends a sliding Emma Ferens to dig it out. Swung across by the Pirates. Carly Brady with a second touch gets it across to Sargent, who swings it. Jaylee Fallis blocked by Walker, and point Stanley County. Jorea Walker and Brecken Hubner really stepping up to the plate here in this match tonight, doing some great work at the net. And I think Highmore-Harrold's starting to learn it's going to be easier to get it around or over them than through them. As Brecken Huebner's serve goes long, Highmore-Harrold will cut it to a 1-point deficit. Not very easy to get it through the arms of Brecken Huebner and Jerea Walker. They have stonewalled a lot of kills tonight. As Hansen digs out the serve, Addie Deal raises up, and it's blocked down by Cadence Hobart. Addie Deal came flying up through the air, got it right into the hands of Hobart. And as this serve is dug out by Hansen, Jerea Walker slams it across. Addie Deal dumps it over the head of Tenley McDonald. Right place, right time for Addie Deal. Makes it 6-5 home team. Lady Buffaloes back in front by 1. It's got to be so much fun for TJ Dragiset to watch Addie Deal play, knowing she's got 2 more years of deal as this serve finds net for the Lady Buffs. It was Lainey Mosteller on the serve. We saw Lainey check in late against Kadoka area, and we're getting to see her a little bit here in the early going. A lot of good teaching moments for Lainey in that match against Kadoka area. Good to see her teammates just kind of help her within the match. What a diving dig by Timber Hansen to keep this point alive. McDonald pushes it across, nearly palmed it, but it bounced off the hand quick enough and got past a diving Brianna Sargent. 7-6. Highmore-Harrold regains. Shaylee Parrish sends the serve across. Hansen up to Jerea Walker. Walker had to turn her back to the net and try to fling it backwards over her head. That is a tough shot to make. And she did it with her hands above her head, making it a very difficult angle. Timber Hansen racing over to the Stanley County bench, trying to get that set from Austin Norman, ran out of space. 9-6. Highmore-Harrold extending their lead. TJ Dragiset trying to will her Lady Buffs back into this early set number 2. Beautiful setup for Addie Deal. It's dug out by Parrish, popped up by Stevenson, and swung back across by Ferentz. First touch Sargent, second touch Brady. Jerea Walker lofts it over and out, stretched Addison McDonald, saved by the Pirates. Austin Norman along the back line keeps it alive. Parley Brady and Brianna Sargent converging. And they just kind of ran into each other at the last moment. Tough play to make for both of them, but you're never going to see a shortage of effort like we just saw there from this Lady Buffaloes squad, no matter what the score is, no matter what point of the match it is. Walker's kill, diving save by Parrish, popped up by McCauley and swung across by Ferentz. Timber Hansen there to field it, got all the way back to the net, and Emma Ferentz, with the slightest of touches at the top of the net, gets it to fall straight down in front of a diving Addie Deal to make it 11-6 Pirates. Shaylee Parrish on a bit of a hot streak at the service line here. Jerea Walker with the third touch, a soft pop over McDonald. McDonald with a two-handed shove and not able to get to it along the back line was a diving Timber Hansen, and a timeout taken by TJ Dragiset. We'll take it with them and be back in 30 seconds. Before we do that, remind you, AgTegra sponsors our timeouts. Acres Ahead can maximize your farm's earning potential straight from the start. Contact your local AgTegra cooperative today. We'll be back in 30 with more from set number 2 here on KGFX and DRGnews.com.
At Jan Bessie Found Shop, specializing in tires to fit vehicles, from ATVs to large farm equipment and everything in between. At your tire store next door, you can find a plethora of brand name tires that range from 4 to 10 ply and much more. Our highly skilled technicians can handle brakes, heating, and air conditioning. Call us today at 224-8643 or visit us at GrahamTire.com. Graham Tire is a proud sponsor of Pierre and surrounding communities' local activities.
Pirates out in front out of the AgTegra timeout in set number 2. Justin Cowart coming to you live here on this Friday night on KGFX, on the DRG News app, and streaming live on DRGnews.com. Thanks to Brian Menning and Haley Hansen. 12-6, Shaylee Parrish back to work, serving for the Pirates. Sends another beauty across. Sliding down to one knee is Hansen. Up for Addie Deal. That kill is dug out. Emma Ferentz with the return to Austin Norman. Brady's second touch. Addie Deal racing up to the net. Barely gets it across. Saved by the Pirates. This one is lofted across for Norman. Norman to Brady. Brady to Hansen midway between the net and the back line. Yes, computer, I know I've got low disk space, but we've got a volleyball match going on and a great point to boot. Addie Deal, kill is good. Man, she really threaded the needle on that kill right in front of Destiny McCauley. Came right down our line of sight up here in the corner. Addie Deal getting the kill right in front of her bench on the far side end of the net. Came back near side with it. And she gets the bleeding to stop. 12-7 is the lead for the Pirates. Emerson Forrest on the serve, floats it over the head of Destiny McCauley, who let it travel, and she watched it clip the line and put both hands on her head. Emerson Forrest registers the ace. So she cuts the deficit to 4. McCauley wisely letting this one travel, as this one had a couple extra feet of distance. That one is out of bounds, and the lead is back to 5 for the Pirates on our Wegner Auto scoreboard. 13-8, and on to serve is Tenley McDonald. Tenley McDonald's serve goes long. We've seen a lot of service errors here tonight. Only a few in the net, most of which have gone long. Timber Hansen checking out for what feels like the first time here tonight. Jerea Walker on to serve. Still is right in between Walker and the far sideline. And a beautiful job done there by the Pirates as Destiny McCauley will check out. Emma Farrens and Jada Balloon will check back in. Farrens on the serve. Low line drive serve, about inches as it crosses the top of the net. Kill is good for Hubner. Couldn't be blocked by McDonald. Tell you what, you can set up Jerea Walker and Brecken Hubner and Addie Deal like their teammates have done tonight. You're going to see a lot of positive play. It's all about just getting them in the right positions as Miley Keefe checks in to serve for the Lady Buffs. Beauty sends Parrish tracking back. Saved. Farron somehow gets to it before going out into the lobby and swings it across. Hansen on the first touch. Keefe on the second. Swung across on the third by Hubner. Setting up Balloon. Balloon's blocked by Brecken Hubner. It's saved by Brianna Sargent as she was falling backwards right underneath the official's tower. But it curved around that spike up coming out from the top of the net. Got to get it inside. It still fell inbounds, but it didn't come across the net that way. It's still a beautiful play for Brianna Sargent, however you want to cut it. 15-10 Pirates. Addison McDonald on to serve. Brady setting up Norman. Norman floats it over the 2 blocking Pirates. Set up for Balloon, blocked by Sargent, dug out by Hansen, and set up for Norman. Norman with a side-spinning kill, somehow saved by Balloon. Swung back across by Highmore-Harrold. Seen a lot of long points tonight, including this one. Forrest swings. Balloon returns. Hansen digs. Brady sets. Hubner kills. Dug out by Stevenson, and the point continues on. Balloon's shot blocked at the net by Hubner, but it bounces towards the student section and out of play. And a long point comes to an end in favor of the Pirates. They lead 16-10 after the marathon. Another nice serve by McDonald, redirected out of play by Emerson Forrest. I am so impressed when these young ladies get good returns off of some of these serves. They just have so much English on it. I would look like an absolute fool down there trying to return some of these serves coming from both sides. Timber Hansen returns this one with ease. It's swung back across. What a save by the left arm of Emerson Forrest, keeping this point alive. Two-handed shove across by Norman. Balloon on the return. Saved by Hansen. Set up by Brady is Norman. Norman swings. McDonald setting up McDonald. And a block by Hubner at the net point, Stanley County. Well, Tenley McDonald set up Addison McDonald. McDonald about midway between the back line and the net. Threw it across, but Hubner was licking her chops ready for it, dumped it in, and cuts the deficit to 6. 17-11, Austin Norman on to serve here for the Lady Buffs, right down the middle of the floor. Norman's right-handed serve is played by Farron. Set up by McDonald, pushed across by Balloon. Addie Deal with a beautiful set from Brianna Sargent, gets another kill. So Stanley County just hanging around here in this second set, trailing by 5, trying to cut into it point by point. Still plenty of room to work with left, but can't have that. Austin Norman with a service error into the net. Stretches the lead back out to 6 for the Pirates. Well, just 7 points away from taking a commanding 2-0 lead in this match. Austin Norman over her head, pops up the serve. It's played back across by Hubner on the third touch. Balloon with a rifle shot right into the hands of Austin Norman, who gets it back across on the first. Balloon tracking Norman again. Diving save by Brady after the first touch. She collided with Addie Deal. Just happy to see both of them get up. They share a hug. That looked like two knees going into each other. And you know how badly that could have hurt. But those two, some tough customers between Carly Brady and Addie Deal. Another beautiful serve by Carly Stevenson earns the ace. As the Lady Buffs had to go back towards the back padding behind the basketball baseline. Trying to get to that one, 20-12, Pirates lead. Carly Stevenson trying to put the final nails in the coffin here of set number 2. Brady setting up Deal. That's what they needed, and Deal sends it right to Carly Stevenson, who had to wear that one on the chin. I want to talk about some toughness. How tough is Carly Stevenson taking an Addie Deal kill right to the face? That had to hurt, but Carly Stevenson with a big smile. It's going to take a lot more to get her out of the match, I can tell you that. As Addie Deal hops over the net. Looks like there was some movement on the net, but not called by the officials. Stanley County will take it. Addie Deal will add another kill to the total. Timber Hansen serving, down 6. First touch by Ferentz, set up by McDonald and dropped in by Hobart. That was a perfectly placed swing by Hobart. Brianna Sargent did what she could, diving down to try to get to it. We've seen some great vision, as I mentioned, from both sides. As Jada Balloon now just 4 points away on the serve. 21-14, Pirates lead. Norman swings, sends a backpedaling Callie Chavez, who really couldn't get much on that. She was backpedaling towards the back line. She did make contact, but it wasn't enough to get it to Ferentz. I believe her intended target on that set. And now Lainey Misteller back into the match for the Lady Buffs. Steller with a nice serve. Third touch is swung across by Tenley McDonald, played by Hansen, up for Brady. Brady setting up Walker. Walker with the kill, and it is true. Carly Stevenson has been on the brunt end of a lot of these powerful kills from Stanley County. Misteller with her second straight serve. Played by Chavez. Set up for Ferentz, and nothing Timber Hansen could do about that. She laid out to her right along the back line trying to save it. But it had so much side spin on it that was tailing away from Hansen. So just a miraculous display of athleticism for Timber Hansen to even get to that one. Although it does make it 22-16. Highmore-Harrold with their grips on set number 2. Parrish's serve is going to be played up by Carly Brady off of Timber Hansen and dumped in by Urea Walker. So a big point there for Stanley County to cut it to a 5-point deficit and to get back on the service. Emerson Forrest will check in. Addie Deal will take what I'm sure will be a quick seat. Forrest with the right hand raised high, sends a soft floating serve across, dug out by McCauley, pushed across by McDonald. What a save along the back line by Timber Hansen. Laid back across by Austin Norman. Great block at the net by Jerea Walker, but it would not get back into Highmore-Harrold territory. Kind of went off to her right side. Carly Brady came flying in to try to save it. She couldn't get under it in time. 23-17. Tenley McDonald on the service for the Pirates. Looking to put away the Lady Buffaloes in set number 2. Tenley McDonald setting up Addison McDonald. Jerea Walker with a setup from Brady, and Jerea Walker with more good action from the net gets another kill and keeps this alive for Stanley County. 23-18. And now Jerea Walker will head back to serve. Brecken Hubner has checked in. Timber Hansen will grab a breather. Walker's serve back to Parrish. Popped up for Tenley McDonald. Addison McDonald in the middle. Played across for Forrest. Brady setting up Norman, and Norman with a miss hit as it rotate off the right side of her palm into the net. And now the Pirates just 1 point away. It'll be Emma Ferens trying to put a cherry on this set number 2 for the Pirates. Taking a long time, couple extra dribbles, waiting for the whistle. Now she's got it. Ferens serve. Played first by Forrest. Up for Brady. Hubner pops it across. Dug by Parrish. Set up for Balloon. Mistouch by Hanson. Back behind the Stanley County bench. And set number 2 will go to the Pirates, 25-18. So Stanley County will try to keep this thing going in set number 3 when we return in about 2.5 minutes. 2-0 set lead for Highmore-Harrold here on KGFX at drgnews.com.
Agriculture is like no other business, which makes Farm Credit Services of America like no other lender. Owned by the farmers and ranchers we serve, our customers have a voice in how we work, a stake in what we do, and share in our success. Discover a lender that works for you at Farm Credit Services of America.
Ready to gain an edge in your career? Tide Machinery's Service Technician Apprenticeship Program is designed for anyone wishing to become a diesel mechanic working on Case IH equipment through full-time, on-the-job training. Enjoy hands-on work experience, learn from factory-trained service experts, and apply your knowledge from school directly to your work with this unique program opportunity. Become a titan in the industry and grow with a dealership that invests in you at Tide Machinery, Highmore, Miller, and Pierre, your local Case IH dealer. Visit TitanMachinery.com/careers to learn more.
Lucky for us, life is full of choices, big and small. They define us, make us who we are. And when it comes time for you to choose, a car, home, your next big adventure, or start a new business, Farmers Union Insurance has the variety of coverage options to protect each perfect moment. Farmers Union Insurance. Contact your local Farmers Union Insurance agent today.
WindCircle, operating since 1995. We combine quality customer service and experience with the right technology to meet your needs. Our cybersecurity certified technicians will make sure your systems are secure. Services offered are video and data cabling, service and support contracts, cutting-edge camera systems to door security devices. WindCircle has many hardware options: Dell, HP, Cisco, SonicWall, and Ruckus, to name a few. Our staff has over 30 years of combined network design and cabling experience at your disposal. Call us today, 605-224-1111, and request a free quote. Again, that's 605-224-1111.
Check out Iverson Auto in Mitchell or Huron for great deals and top-notch service. Iverson Auto has it all, from the knowledgeable sales and finance teams to the experienced parts and service teams, plus the best detail shop in the region. Iverson Auto, 77 plus years in our community, locally owned and operated. We have always been here and always will be. Stop in for your next new or used ride, or use one of our professional services at Iverson Auto in Mitchell and Huron, or browse our inventory online anytime at iversonauto.com.
Ray Walker really does it all for the Lady Buffaloes, doesn't she? She has had a great match here tonight at the net, and in between that set break, and I guess we could call that our CHS River Plains halftime, she was the MC for the duck toss. Well, a bit of misfortune for the first duck to land right there in the bullseye. Another duck came flying in and coasted down onto the pond and moved the first duck out of the bullseye, and we'll resume that position. Congratulations to duck number 76. All your hard work paid off. You are the duck toss winner here tonight. 2-0 set lead for the Highmore-Harrold Pirates as set number 3 moments away from getting underway. I'm Justin Cowart coming to you live here on KGFX tonight. We're watching live on drgnews.com. Big thanks to Brian Menning working the camera, who, got to tell you, makes a mean batch of popcorn, folks. One of my favorite things is to try the popcorn at each one of these venues, and Brian Menningley may have taken the lead on the Cowart's Colonels rating system. Set number 3 starts with a service error for Carly Brady, and our Wegner Auto scoreboard reads 1-0 Highmore-Harrold out in front, as it will be Addison McDonald to serve. Brady with the second touch. Andy Deal back out on the floor. Kill comes across, dug out by McDonald. McDonald on the third touch pushes it across. Hanson backpedaling. Lays it up for Brady. Brady setting up Norman. Norman with a strong two-handed push sends Addie McDonald back to the back line. Kept alive. Balloon swings. Hanson with the dig. Brady setting up Brecken Hubner. Nice play by Carly Stevenson. As Balloon sends it across. Blocked by Hubner. Back to the Pirates. This one by Addison McDonald is a bit too long and wide. And we're tied back up at one apiece. Well, even though both the first and second set were won by Highmore-Harrold, Lady Buffaloes have been very, very close and very competitive here tonight. As Jaylee Fallis sends the return across, and Addie Deal runs into the net and is tagged with the violation. As we mentioned, the Stanley County Lady Buffaloes will wrap up their regular season on the 28th against Jones County. As this Stevenson serve is played into the net. A little bit too low for Addie Deal. 3-1 Highmore-Harrold. The Pirates will wrap up their regular season at home versus a very good Miller Rustler squad. That'll also be on the 28th. Stevenson's serve. And Carly Brady setting up Hubner. Diving save by Lainey Ping. Beautiful play by Ping. The libero going down to the floor to save it. Saves another one by Addie Deal this time around. Jaylee Fallis with a high pop across the net. Wanted to go over Hubner. Saw her rising up for the block. This time it's Brianna Sargent with the kill. She cuts it to a 1-point deficit. That is one thing that Kadoka area did so well against Stanley County was go on long runs. Points of 8 in a row, 7 in a row. This ace is earned by Timber Hanson to tie it at 3. It was as if Stanley County would find some momentum, put a little bit of a rhythm together, but they'd look up at the Wegner Auto scoreboard and still see a huge deficit. That's not been the case tonight. They have been in each and every set. And they now lead set number 3 after the return by the Pirates goes into the net. 4-3, Stanley County out in front. I think to a lot of coaches, matches like this could be frustrating as Timber Hanson's serve saved by Ferentz, but the return is out of play. 5-3 Stanley County. And the reason I say that is you're getting leads, you're getting out in front, but then your opponent goes on a little bit of a run to regain the lead and create a deficit. But I think TJ Dragasset has got to be pretty pleased with the fight that our Lady Buffaloes are showing tonight. They would love to get this to a set number 4. They lead 5-3, but a double touch by Addie Deal along the net will make it 5-4. And I won't lie and act like I know a ton about volleyball, but maybe it's just one of those things. You just get one of those sets under your belt and something clicks, and you open up Pandora's box. Timber Hanson wears that one on the bicep and the face on the return, but she keeps it alive. Whatever it takes, right, Timber? As this one's blocked back by Brianna Sargent and Jorea Walker, somehow kept alive by the Pirates. Carly Brady now trying to set up one of her teammates, and that one just got across by itself and kind of confused Eva Ferentz and company. So the point is awarded to Stanley County. And we see Lainey Misteller checking in to serve again. It's been good to see Lainey getting some more playing time here. Just a freshman. They've shown some good prowess on the service. So this one swung across by Ferentz. Timber Hanson there to dig it, set it up for Brady, who sets it up for Walker. Walker with a dump, diving right-handed save by Carly Stevenson. Ferentz plays it across and off the arms of Austin Norman, bouncing off the back wall. Highmore-Harrold cutting it back to a 1-point deficit. But this is how all 2.5 sets, I guess you could say, have gone. It's been back and forth. One team gets a lead. The other team goes on a bit of a run, regains it. And it's returned by the other. Another ace, this time for Highmore-Harrold, ties it up at 6. Nice job by Shaylee Parrish. And Shaylee Parrish has got a really impressive serve. Standing at 5'1", it's not as easy as some of these taller players to get a good forward spinning trajectory on these serves. Another good serve leads to another kill, this time by Addison McDonald. And the Pirates step back out in front, 7-6. We talked a little bit about that 3-set Lyman match that Highmore-Harrold won a couple days ago. Normally when you hear 3 sets, you think pretty easy standard match. That wasn't the case as this return from Brianna Sargent goes into the net. 2-point lead here for the Pirates. All 3 of those sets were long and drawn out, a lot of points. As another pair serve is played by Timber Hansen up for Carly Brady. Carly was trying to go cross court to find Addie Deal, but too much on it. And out of bounds, 6-9 is the deficit for the Lady Buffaloes. Parrish on a run here. Serve gets Brianna Sargent and Timber Hansen on a very soft collision. But they get it across. Emma Ferens with a return. Blocked by Walker. And that block will earn the point for Stanley County. Now just trailing by 2, and Addie Deal heads back to serve. Another good student section is formed here tonight inside Parkview. In support of the Lady Buffs, Addie Deal with a service error, her second of the evening, will earn the service back to the Pirates. Tenley McDonald will be the one to send it across. McDonald sends Hansen and Sargent backpedaling together. This return, that was beautifully done by Jerea Walker. Lainey Ping was tracking it down. It spent a lot of time in the air. She was moving over towards the Highmore-Harrold bench, and she got caught kind of in between. Should I return this? Should I not? She decided at the last second to try to make a play on it, but it was just a bit too late. As another nice serve from Walker rattles off the hands of Ping into Addison McDonald, who just kind of redirected it right back to Lainey Ping. But in the meantime, Stanley County has now cut this to a 1-point deficit. Just trying to claw their way back into this match. 10-9. Highmore-Harrold leads on our Wegner Auto scoreboard, and now we're tied as Addison McDonald's return goes long and into the stairwell back behind the court. And they want to take a timeout to Shelby Hyde. Tied at 10 in set number 3, and Agtegra timeout will keep us 30 seconds out. We'll be right back with a word from Agtegra in a very thrilling set number 3 on KGFX.
Highmore-Harrold
New or used car, motorcycle, pickup, or RV, think of us. We make all sorts of vehicle loans. We can set you up with payments that fit your budget. So if you have getting some new wheels in mind, stop by and see us. We'll get you the right loan. Dakota Plains Federal Credit Union, federally insured by NCUA. We're big on you.
We're small enough to know your name, but we're big on you.
With our new...
Maximize your farm's earning potential straight from the start. Contact your local Agtegra cooperative today. Tied up at 10 on our Wegner Auto scoreboard. Here as Highmore-Harrold holds the 2-0 lead. There's been 2 competitive sets and now a third competitive set unfolding. Here as Jerea Walker will serve, trying to keep the momentum going for the Lady Buffs. That Agtegra timeout was used by Shelby Hyde and the Pirates. As Austin Norman shoves it across with 2 hands, setting up Emma Ferens here on the near side for the Pirates. Nice job digging it out by Jerea Walker along the back line. Just kind of a battle at the net between Addison McDonald and Brecken Hubner. That thing crossed the net about 2 or 3 times before it finally dropped down to the floor on the Stanley County side to make it 11-10 Highmore-Harrold. Emma Ferens now serving for the Pirates. Diving dig by Brianna Sargent. Pushed across by Hubner. Balloon here on the near side has been deadly from that spot, and she gets another kill. So it's 12-10 Highmore-Harrold. For Stanley County, you would just got to get one set, keep this thing alive, and then see what happens in set number 4. As Hubner's kill is dug out by Ferens, popped up by McDonald, swung across by Balloon. Carly Brady trying to set up Hubner in the middle, and that is successful. That's a good formula right there. Carly Brady on the near side, setting up Hubner in the middle, and then letting Hubner have her pick of the litter in terms of which side she wants to try to exploit. Tell you what, Jerea Walker and Brecken Hubner have shown outstanding vision, as has Jada Balloon and Emma Ferens up front for the Pirates. A lot of talent around that net as Mila Keefe checks into serve and just has it run into the net. We saw a great ace from Brecken Huebner early in this match that clipped the top of the net, killed all its momentum, and dropped it right in front of the Pirates. We almost had another one of those by Mila Keefe. Addison McDonald on to serve. That one's a bit too long for McDonald. McDonald, as we mentioned, the lone senior. I would love to get her insight on what it's like being the only senior on a roster that is full of freshmen, sophomores, and a few eighth graders as well. Tape's a special type of leader on a roster like that. Timber Hansen running back, saving it, pushed across by Deal, diving dig. Emma Farron's down to 2 knees. Balloon's kill is blocked by Huebner, but Balloon had so much momentum behind that and so much power behind that kill that Huebner's block could only do one thing, and that's travel a long way, and it landed out of bounds, so it's 14-12 Pirates. Huebner in the middle with a right-handed push, and they're going to say she palmed that one, and that'll make it 15-12 Highmore-Harrold. So Carly Stevenson continuing to try to stretch out this Pirate lead. Serve will chase Timber Hansen back. Addie Deal at the net. Right hand pushes it across, but it's blocked back in. Coming flying in is Brianna Sargent, but she was getting to it as it was coming up underneath the net. That would have taken some physics-defying stunts to get that one across. 16-12 Highmore-Harrold. Carly Brady trying to fit one in here along the near sideline, and that one just travels out of play. 17-12, and Highmore-Harrold starting to feel like they are right there, getting closer and closer to a 3-set sweep. Stevenson sends it across, played back by Huebner. They're going to set up Tenley McDonald on the far side. That's dug out by Hansen. Huebner in the middle. That kill is good. Lainey Ping went down to 2 knees to try to field it, but it had way too much power behind it from Brecken Huebner. So Timber Hansen and her squad trailing by 4 will head back to serve. Hansen with a rifle serve, but it's right into the net. Another service violation by Stanley County. We're seeing a few more of those here in the 3rd set, coming at more and more inopportune times for the Lady Buffs. 18-13. Jada Balloon on to serve, and that one goes long. So the Pirates repay the favor. Back to a 4-point deficit. It's like TJ Dragoset and her assistant coach Caitlin Huebner discussing if they want to use an Agtegra timeout. Still have 2 left. As Misteller back in to serve. And it serves the same role as Mila Keefe. Service expert as that kill, well, I can't really call it a kill. It was played across by Addie Deal and was placed so beautifully that nobody on the Pirate side could get to it. It's now a 15-18 deficit for Stanley County. Misteller's serve played by McCauley. Pushed across by Farrens, and Farrens was able to squeeze it around Jerea Walker and down in front of Austin Norman. That's that great placement we've been talking about. And it comes at a big time for the Pirates, who extend their lead back out to 4, now just 6 points away. Parrish again on to serve for the Pirates. Played first by Sargent, popped across by Walker. Played up for Tenley McDonald. McDonald with the right hand, plays it towards Hansen. Brady setting up Walker, saved by McDonald. Pushed across by Farrens. Right-handed save by Austin Norman. Brady setting up Deal. Far side. Blocked at the net. Diving dig from Jerea Walker. Played again by Norman. Swung across by Addie Deal. Great teamwork there to keep this point alive. And McCauley and Farrens collide. And it's a point for Stanley County. So many different points of that point that could have gone to Highmore-Harrold. Stanley County could have folded, but they just kept flying around the court, making unbelievable saves. And they force an error by the Pirates and cut the deficit back to 3. Let's see if Addie Deal can go on a run from the service line here. Played first by Parrish. McDonald setting up Tenley McDonald, and Timber Hansen diving to try to save it. Couldn't get to it in time. 20-16 Pirates, and Tenley McDonald will serve here for Highmore-Harrold. McDonald a couple steps to the left of the midline. Returned by the Lady Buffs. Setting up Addison McDonald. That one curves out of bounds. And the Lady Buffs cut it back to 3. And again, TJ Dragoset still has those 2 Agtegra timeouts. Curious at what point she's going to want to talk some strategy. Served by Jerea Walker. Whistle dead. And it was going to be an ace. That's a bit unfortunate there for Jerea Walker. The official up in the tower. Bev Ball saying that the setup was not correct, having a cross-court conversation with TJ Dragoset. Now Dragoset turns to Kinsley, the floor official. But nobody tagged with a point. Just saying you got to get set up and we'll redo the serve. So Jerea Walker again sends Destiny McCauley back. Parrish has to track back farther. Now finally swung across by Addison McDonald. Norman sets up towards the middle, pushed across by Jerea Walker. Soft touch by Parrish. McCauley there to save it. Swung back across by McDonald. Brianna Sargent gets to it first. Brady setting up Hubner in the middle, and Hubner dumps it down. 2-point deficit here for the Lady Buffs. 20-18 on our Wegner Auto scoreboard. Lady Buffs still behind, but Jerea Walker still at the line. Walker, another forward spinning serve, played by McCauley, touchdown by Hubner. Third touch, a little bit of communication error there between Shaylee Parrish and Emma Ferentz. Ferentz was calling for it, but Parrish was staunch that she was going to take it. A two-handed touch just went into the net. And now it's a 1-point deficit for the Lady Buffs. Addison McDonald forces it across, played by Forrest. Brady setting up Norman, and we're tied at 20. Norman with a kill. Addison McDonald and Carly Stevenson there, but it just kind of bounced off of both of them back and forth. 20-20 on our Wegner Auto scoreboard. Walker with the hot hand here. Hubner with another kill. And they're going to say that Hubner clipped the net. Tough call against the Lady Buffaloes. Highmore-Harrold steps back out in front. 21-20. Emma Ferentz now serving. And she gets the ace. Off the missed touch by Timber Hansen. And all that momentum that Stanley County had built up seemingly dissipating in the past 2 points. They're still in this thing. Emma Ferentz, another nice serve, played first by Sargent. Norman setting up Hubner. Hubner's kill, dug out by Ferentz. McDonald setting up Emma Ferentz, Jada Balloon. One dug out by Emerson Forrest, swung across by Norman. Tenley McDonald setting up Addison McDonald, and McDonald gets the kill. Highmore-Harrold now 2 points away. Stanley County going to have to dig deep to try to stay in this match and answer back, trailing 23-20. Ferentz with another nice serve, another diving save by Forrest. First touch gets across. Jada Balloon trying to dump it over Brecken Hubner. Hubner able to return it. Brady setting up Hubner, blocked again, and Jada Balloon goes toe-to-toe with Brecken Hubner and wins that battle, and Highmore-Harrold just 1 point away. 24-20 in set number 3. Highmore-Harrold looking to sweep. Ferentz serve, dug out by Hansen. Brady setting up Norman. Two-handed push across by Norman. Carly Stevenson setting up Balloon, and Balloon threads the needle, gets it to drop, and wins the match for Highmore-Harrold. Set number 3 ends 25-20 on our Wegner Auto scoreboard. Highmore-Harrold takes it in 3. We'll be back with our Family Dental of Pier in Gettysburg to name a Bauman Lumber player of the game, recap this action, and look ahead at the 2 final regular season games for both of these squads. We'll be back with the Family Dental of Pier in Gettysburg post-game show right after this break on KGFX and DRGnews.com.
Online loan application. You can go to our website and apply for a loan when it's most convenient for you. We make getting loan approval fast and easy. Our local lenders are available to assist you if you have any questions. We make it pain-free to get that loan you've been wanting. We're an equal housing lender. Oahe Federal Credit Union, your hometown credit union since 1955. Federally insured by NCUA.
College is where ideas come to life, where you'll find your pack. And at Northern State University, you'll lead the pack. It's part of the Northern Experience, right here in Aberdeen, South Dakota. This is where the next generation of leaders thrive. Through world-class facilities, hands-on experiences, and generous scholarship opportunities to impact every part of who you're meant to be. Don't just earn a degree, shape your future and experience Northern.
Do you have a new pair of jeans or a favorite shirt with a small tear or hole? Or your winter coat has a broken zipper? Don't throw them away. Call Lila Briggs Sewing and Embroidery in Fort Pierre to have your items fixed as good as new. They also provide hemming, other sewing services, as well as custom embroidery for a truly professional look and design. Lila Briggs Sewing and Embroidery is a proud supporter of all Stanley County school activities and wishes the student athletes the best of luck in the school year.
Fentanyl is a powerful synthetic opioid, up to 100 times stronger than morphine. Even a tiny amount can be deadly. It's often mixed with other drugs without your knowledge, increasing your risk of overdose. Protect yourself and your loved ones and avoid unknown substances. Stay informed, stay safe, and remember, one pill can kill. For more information on fentanyl prevention, visit your local health resource or speak to a healthcare professional today. This message was brought to you by the Great Plains Tribal Opioid Response, so that the people may live.
Forbes named us South Dakota's best bank again. We faced a dilemma. Thankfully, we have the state's best customers, so we're happy to brag about them instead. After all, they inspire us every day. The farmers, the business owners, the families. Without them, we'd be just another bank. So thank you to all of our amazing customers. We wouldn't be here without you. First Dakota National Bank, member FDIC.
We're passionate about getting yearly mammograms because 1 in 8 women will be diagnosed with breast cancer. You can get a yearly mammogram to detect it early. Would it help if I requested nicely? Please, could you be so kind as to get a mammo? Or singing it. Get your mammogram starting at 40. Or with a British accent. Schedule your mammo with an Avera Breast Center at avera.org/breast or call 888-422-1410.
Stanley County Booster Club welcomes staff and students back to school for the 25-26 school year. If you have noticed all the great changes on the Stanley County campus, it's internal too. So get your commemorative 30th edition of the Booster Club calendar, find some new purple and gold gear at their Buff store, and come out to see the staff, students, activities, and facilities. Proud to be a Buffalo and inviting you to join us. We're the Stanley County Booster Club.
The Family Dental of Pierre and Gettysburg post-game show. Hello, everybody. I'm Justin Cowart. Wrapping up, here's some Friday night volleyball action on KGFX. It was the Highmore-Harrold Pirates in a competitive 3 sets that get the win. We'll recap the scoring for you here in a moment. As we want to thank everybody that tuned in tonight on KGFX and DRGnews.com. Want to remind you can also download the DRG News app. When we have games and nights with multiple games, like we will later this upcoming week on Thursday night with a plentiful bunch of high school playoff football, you can download the DRG News app and you can bounce around from game to game and make your listening experience much more streamlined and much more in. Some place to be. Well, it was a very exciting matchup, to say the least. It was controlled by Highmore-Harrold in terms of set wins, but these were back and forth sets all the way throughout. A stark difference from what we saw against Kadoka area when the Cougars just controlled the match from start to finish. Stanley County showed a lot of fight here tonight, and it was back and forth through all 3 sets. You know, Stanley County would take a slight lead, and then Highmore-Harrold would go on a bit of a run and regain a 1 or 2 point lead. Stanley County would get a big get a big point, get the ball back to their servers, and they would go back out in front. So it was back and forth all night, the kind of thing that TJ Dragus said, I'm sure loved to see. Of course, she would have loved to see her Lady Buffaloes come out on the winning end, but this is progress being made for Stanley County as they continue to build this program. And it seems like we talk about it every time we come on the air with the Lady Buffaloes on our coverage. They seem to just slowly be getting better and better and better and building closer and closer to where they want to be. It was a great match played by a lot of players on both sides. We saw some great play from Jada Balloon, Emma Ferens, Addison McDonald played really well for the Highmore-Harrold Pirates. And also for Stanley County, we got to see Brecken Hubner get more involved at the net. Jerea Walker had some big kills. Addie Deal had her standard night of flying up through the rafters and getting some very dominant kills herself. So some great volleyball played on both sides. And for Stanley County, this is a loss that you can build on. That is a very good Highmore-Harrold Pirate team that, while young, is very experienced. And Stanley County gave them a great fight tonight. So congratulations to both sides on a great match, and congratulations to the Highmore-Harrold Pirates who got the win. All right, now it's time for our favorite segment, our player of the game. And as always, that's sponsored by our friends at Bauman Lumber. Before we hand out this t-shirt, let's hear a word from our great friends who sponsor our player of the game at Bauman Lumber.
When you need building supplies, there's no need to go anywhere except to Bauman Lumber in Fort Pierre. Bauman Lumber is locally owned and offers quality products, expert advice, free estimates, and free local delivery for large or small projects. Whether it's a home improvement project, remodel job, or all new construction, they even welcome special orders. Quality building materials and affordable prices for residential or commercial projects can be found at Bauman Lumber, 1223 Sale Barn Road, Fort Pierre, or call 223-9762.
And tonight, as we mentioned, our Bauman Lumber player of the game could have gone a lot of different directions. And so, because I've got Haley Hansen as our board op, we're going to do something we don't normally do. We're going to give out a player of the game for both sides of the court here tonight. As we mentioned, this thing could go many different ways. Addison McDonald played outstanding up at the net for Highmore-Harrold, as did Emma Farron. She had some really important kills, but none were more dominant than Jada Balloon. Jada had some great placement on some kills that really Stanley County could not do much about. Timber Hansen, again, was working hard along that back line, but Jada Balloon was able to find a lot of open slots and earn a lot of points. So congratulations. She is our Highmore-Harrold player of the game. And for Stanley County, well, we got to hand a player of the game shirt out for one of our Stanley County Lady Buffaloes because they fought hard tonight. We talked about it a little bit in our Bank West pregame show. We wanted to see more involvement of Brecken Hubner at the net and Jerea Walker, and we saw that here tonight. Brecken Hubner had maybe one of her best matches that we've seen her play here on KGFX, and she is our Stanley County player of the game here tonight. She will be earning a Lady Buffaloes player of the game t-shirt sponsored by our friends at Bauman Lumber. As we take a quick look around the state at some other scores here tonight, Lyman beat Belle-Fourche 3-1. Alliance beat Lakota Tech 3-1. Hill City over Alliance as well, 3-0. Hanson beat Viborg Hurley in 3 straight sets. West Central is leading Parker Marion 1-0, and also leading that second set, Warner over Mobridge Pollock 3-1. Bell Rapids beat Tri-Valley 3-0. Elk Point Jefferson knotted up with Madison at 2 sets apiece, going to a decisive third set. Groton Area had no trouble with Redfield winning 3-0. Clark Willow Lake leading Britton Hecla 2-1. Dakota Valley over Vermilion 3-0. Baltic over Lennox in 3 straight sets. Great Plains Lutheran over Wilmot in 3 straight sets. Aberdeen Roncalli beat Dual in 3. Miller over Ethan in 3 straight sets. Bennett County leading Rapid City Christian 1-0 as they head into set number 2. And, of course, our final on our Wegner Auto scoreboard here was Highmore-Harrold hitting the win over Stanley County as we recap the final scores from those 3 sets. Set number 1, 25-21. Set number 2, 25-18. And set number 3, 25-20. As we look ahead at the rest of the season, only one match remains for both of these schools. Stanley County will close it out here at home against Jones County on the 28th. And Highmore-Harrold will go back home to welcome in Miller. And Miller sits at 20-7 on the season. Another tough test for the Highmore-Harrold Pirates, and another tough test for Stanley County as Jones County sits at 16-10. A big thanks to all of our great sponsors who made broadcasting high school volleyball here on KGFX possible tonight. Our friends at Jan Bussey Ford, the Highmore-Harrold, Venture Communications, Access Health, Highmore Health, Avera Health, First Dakota National Bank, Access Health, the Stanley County Booster Club, Xander Auto Parts, Owyhee Federal Credit Union, Bauman Lumber, Ferding Electric, and Dakota Plains Federal Credit Union. Big thanks to Family Dental of Pierre and Gettysburg for sponsoring our post-game show, and Bauman Lumber for sponsoring our player of the game and being our sports video sponsor. For my friend Brian Menning on the camera and Haley Hansen back in the studio, I'm Justin Cowart saying so long, good night. One final look at our scoreboard, sponsored by Wegner Auto. Highmore-Harrold gets the win 3-0. We hope you all have a wonderful Friday night and a safe weekend. Thanks for listening to this coverage of high school volleyball on KGFX and streaming live on drgnews.com.
Driven by the Office of Highway Safety, 1060 KGFX Pierre. Rebroadcasting on K276GT, 103.1 FM Fort Pierre. Leave sooner, drive slower, live longer.